Hello friends, this is Growl. Now that the raid is out, everyone is trying to optimize their character and learn the correct setup for raids. I get a lot of questions about raiding talents, specs, or rotations. You should almost never have a doubt as to what the best build is for raid, because the information is right at your fingertips all the time. In this video, I'm going to go over how you can easily figure out the best way to play your character in any raid fight regardless of what class or spec you play. After I'm done, you'll never have another raid setup question again. Let's get started. I want to introduce you to a site called Warcraft Logs. You may have heard of it or even used it before, but it holds the answer to all of our raid related questions. If you aren't familiar with logs, WoW has the ability to log entire encounters in text format. You can then upload these logs online and view them in a more readable way to discover more information about the fight. Raiding in World of Warcraft can be super fast-paced and complicated with multiple mechanics going on at the same time. I prefer logs as a way to review because it's very easy to compare yourself with others who are doing the exact same fight. There might be some different things on the front page such as rankings or boss races, but what we're after is simply the search bar at the top. Let's say I'm learning to play Resto Shaman and my next fight is Heroic Sludge Fist. I click the drop down at the top and select Sludge Fist, change the difficulty to Heroic, damage to Healing, and classes to Resto Shaman. What you have now is the highest HPS Resto Shaman logs for this fight, across everything that was uploaded. Many cutting edge guilds automatically upload their logs in real time to Warcraft Logs, so there will usually be a decent sample size of good players. At the top, you can see there's a top 100 breakdown, but personally I just like to scroll down and look at all the gamers. First off, you can get a benchmark of what is possible in the fight. You can't expect to beat their HPS or DPS, but you do have a target to aim for. You can also use these middle columns to see size of the raid, eye level of the healer, and duration of the fight if you really want to find a fight that matches the exact one that you're in. You can also see the talents each person was running. In the first row, it looks like Unleashed Life is preferred, however, some shamans are running Torrent. The rest of the talents look pretty set in stone and everyone else is running the same stuff across every fight. This gives you a perfect baseline of what talents you need to be running. This doesn't mean you have to run these talents, and very often you may want to change a talent or two to accommodate for your raid. For example, Earthen Wall Totem provides the highest amount of HPS in the row, however, Ancestral Protection Totem is a great raid cooldown and acts as a free B-res. You may need to bring that instead because, as I said, they do share the same talent row. There's also a lot of information about trinkets, soulbinds, conduits, and legendary items as well. This gives you a good idea of what people think are the best choices. Keep in mind early on that the availability of these might be limited. You may have to draw some conclusions about what you see. Lots of shamans are using the Dark Moon deck trinket because it's easily available at 200 item level, but it likely won't be the best in slot. When you see a wide variety of choices, that usually means you should just use what you get and not worry too much about it. With this info, you should already know the exact best build for every raid fight on every character now. While it's true that HPS and DPS aren't the best indicators of what you should be doing, this is a really good starting point. Before you try to worry about what you could be doing better than huge numbers, worry about being capable of doing them first. We can go even deeper though, and there's a lot more to learn from these logs other than just talent and covenant builds. Click on a name on the list to get taken to the exact fight log where we can look more closely on what's going on. If you want a detailed breakdown of what skills are contributing to their overall healing or damage, click their name in the log. This is information you can match up more closely with what you have in your details. Even if you aren't logging your fights, you can quickly see if your overall breakdown matches up with what it should be. If a skill doesn't match up with yours, you can click on it to get even more information. This shows exactly when the skill was gaining damage or healing and how much. You can find exactly where in the fight it's getting the most value and when the person used it in their logs. You can come close to learning how to raid just from this one screen. If you see someone is getting more HPS from their abilities, you can dive deep and figure out why. Are they using it at better times or just simply more often than you? How hard are their abilities hitting? Maybe they're using them at specific moments or boss phases. This is a great place to start if you don't have your fights logged and are just looking for some small pieces of advice as to what spells you want to prioritize. Some classes have more complex rotations where the precise ordering of skills can be very important. Using your skills out of order can be a big loss, and it might not be obvious exactly how to order them. You can also use Warcraft logs to look up the specific ordering of skills if you want to learn more about openers or just important cooldown windows. One important example of this is Discipline Priest. I've been learning to play Discipline Priest and raid this tier, and I've had to review some logs of better players to learn exactly how it should be ramping big heals. I always have a laugh when people ask me about Disc Priest ramping in raids because this is my first raid tier playing Priest, and I basically just looked up how to do it a few days ago. It really is that simple and easy to learn what you should be doing in raid. The hardest part is putting in the practice to get good logs and finding a good guild. Having the right attitude is really the key, but that's a topic for another video.
Well, Pyro can on, correct?
No, man, how was I too close to the boss? I'm 1 pixel ahead of everyone else. Are you kidding me? I got hit by that? I'm on fucking tilt. Here's a Disc Priest log, and in order to see the cast order, you want to go to timelines in the top right, and then click casts on top. Click the player you want to see, and you can see a breakdown of all of their spells used during the fight. I want to learn the Spirit Shell rotation, so I'm scrolling through until I see Spirit Shell being used. Now here at 28 seconds, we see the ramp. Beforehand, he used Power Infusion and then puts out 8 atonements via Power Word Shield. This is a bit greedy, but I guess if you want to be the rank 1 parse, you gotta do what you gotta do. Then, Radiance, Purge, Radiance, followed by Trinket, Mindbender, and Spirit Shell, what seems to be macroed into one button. Then, after Spirit Shell is pressed, you have Schism, Mind Games, Penance, Mind Blast, the basic DPS Priest rotation, followed by a few smites until the atonements run out. That's it, you now know the rotation to ramp as a Spirit Shell Disc Priest. It's really that simple. Executing it at the right time under pressure with a good guild is another story though. You have all the tools you need to learn what to run and how to play it in raid, in order to rank highly on every fight. This video is just a primer to learning to raid. However, this information will turn you from a beginning raider to killing mythic bosses if used properly. This is my first raiding introduction video, and I want to make more in order to help people get more comfortable since raids can be a bit intimidating. If you have suggestions on topics you'd like to see covered, leave them down in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, I'd appreciate it if you gave it a like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be coming out with more raid and Mythic Plus content throughout all of Shadowlands. Happy raiding.
Then we're gonna get knocked back.
Let's grab it anyway.
Alright, good. We got some time. There's gonna be a massacre. We got plenty of time.
Literally,
boss.
what?
Kill the fucking boss.
It's not over till it's over!
Let's go! Oh yeah, dude, the overtime police.
The lawyer, get these guys off our backs.
Why is my guild such monkeys? What are they doing, dude? It's heroic.